Good, welcome to the Zapier Meetup. So organizational stuff, I mean, everyone is like used to Zoom and Teams or whatever, but I always leave the overview. There's a Q&A function and button in the Zoom bar. You can use that to ask questions, and Lisa will push them to me after the talk, and we can see if that actually answers the question. You can actually see what others have asked as well. So feel free to do that. Also, because we only have we had like 50 registrations, so that normally ends up with like 10, 15, 20 people. So we have speaking enabled for you. You can also, if you want, you can share your camera, I think. Yep, and raising your hand works as well. Carlos, you can unmute yourself and then ask the question directly. Okay, and feel free to use all the buttons here in Zoom. I've prepared some slides, but this is just more the structure of what we want to show. So if you have any specific ideas or question or something, we'll be able to answer that. There should be enough time, I think, to do that. Lisa, did I cover everything?
Yes, perfect.
Good. First time in this kind of stuff. It's actually the first time from the home office. Normally, I even would do that in the office, but that's how it is. I hope everyone is well. Yeah, let's start with Zapier and AX. My name is Robert Weißgraeber. I'm the CTO at AX Semantics, and I oversee most of the product and stuff like that. And here is the chat. I can actually not see the chat window, Lisa. So if there's any, for whatever reason, it's probably on the wrong screen or so. So if there's anything important coming up, you need to ping me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talking about Zapier, we use Zapier a lot. For those of you who don't know that, I'll do a short introduction as well. So basically, if you look at text generation, there is the numbering wrong on the slides, but there's the big five, as we call them, of content generation or text generation. The first is that you have to have some kind of data, because all these applications are in the data to text domain. You need domain knowledge, obviously. You need to know what you're writing about, and you need to know how to write, the writing skills. This actually is one of the biggest impacts on text quality. Normally you need technology and developer skills. And if you want to build, so these are the ones that you can, 1 to 5 of those that bring you to a successful NLG or text generation project. You should add some knowledge or know-how about business model and stuff like that, because that gives you a successful product. But that's something that it's kind of a prerequisite for anything anyway. So these are the big five. And we at AX, we believe heavily in combining creativity and humans and automation and robots. So if you break those down, those five, into what a human should do and what a robot should do, domain knowledge and writing skills is something that a machine can, at least for the next few years, not replace. But what we can offer by combining software, automation, machine learning, whatever, we can replace technology and developer skills. The Zapier in this context also doesn't only replace the NLG technology stuff, but also the developer skills that most people don't have or have access to via IT or something, but it's not the same as doing it yourselves. And we will see that Zapier actually is very good at doing lots of stuff that's been needed in these big five. For those of you that don't know Zapier, the one slide introduction, it's basically a so-called no-code automation platform. So basically what you define is steps that follow through that are in various applications, and then you can send data from A to B and send on events. So in this case, for example, this is actually from Slack's homepage somewhere. So you get a weather forecast coming in from a weather report application, like an app that you have on your iPhone or something. Then you want to send an SMS to yourself with the weather forecast, but you also want to send a channel message in Slack. And what Zapier does is that you can all do that just by clicking around. So you don't know, not even glue code or something. It's super fast, and you can try a lot of stuff. And this is for data going in as well as for stuff going out. So in this case, we have weather coming in, and then send it to Slack or something else, or send it to a text message. And by chaining all these small items into something that Zapier calls a Zap, you actually create mini applications that run in terms of context or run regularly or something like that. So since a few weeks, we have an AX Semantics integration for Zapier as well. So basically, our SaaS platform that we have, you can now connect to any of those 2,000 other applications that are available via Zapier. So for example, if you have Shopify or a WordPress instance or something, you can connect those together, as you'll see. And so basically, you go there, you say, connect this app, in this case, AX Semantics, to another app, and then Zapier will walk you through that. There's some example tasks that our application provides. One is that pushing content to WordPress instance as a new blog post is something that's very easy to do. And I'll show in a few minutes as well the send data from Google Forms. So basically, you create a Google Forms and have the data coming in from Google Forms into a structured way, and then send that to AX Semantics. And of course, these are all these small steps, but you can combine them. So in this case, you would be able to, if just by these two examples that are popular, you would have a Google form going to AX. AX generates the content and sends this to a WordPress and blog post. And with that instance, you have an automatic blog post machine with automatic content. So we'll look at it in these three parts. The first is publishing automatic content. I recorded this. So we will show the text output from the, we have a pharmaceutical application that's called the applications. And you have data here. And in this case, it's pretty long because it's basically what you use for a vaccine or drug application, sending it to the regulatory authorities. We have looked at the data, we have extracted that, and we have written the automation of the clinical study report with headlines and some tables in here, as we'll see. And this is using this to put the text together. And then if you generate a text, you get something like a short part of this clinical study report. So it's just important to automate because the data changes a lot. So it's good to have this as a proto text. And now we'll generate this in the production platform. And I've connected this before to Zapier to Google Sheets or Google Docs. In this case, we generate this phase 3 study report, and then it pops out automatically on my Google Drive. Yeah, just generated this morning. It's a pre-recorded thing because then I can concentrate a little bit on explaining what happens. And it generated me a Google Docs with formatting and tables and all that stuff just by in a few seconds. And every time the data updates, it goes well. There's some formatting errors in here due to Google Sheets and Word export or something, but that's easy to fix for even a machine. So regenerating new data, whatever happens, Zapier will take care of automatically putting that into my Google Docs. So this is the output chain. So that's something you can actually use to connect that to a WordPress instance. You can generate Slack messages, you can send text messages, whatever is in there, or push it back to Shopify or Magento as a product description. If you use it in the product description space, or if you want to have it published somewhere, you'll see an example with a LinkedIn and Twitter post as well. That's easy to do. And the other part is getting data into AX. Sometimes we have, especially if you have smaller use cases, you can have your data completely in a Google Sheets instead of having an expensive product information system or a publishing application that has all the data in there. So in this case, we have a Google Sheets with some product data here. And I want to automate this. Oops. No, that's... So you have this Google Sheets. We have headings that are basically the database column, and this is especially cool if you are early in your product and you want to validate that first. Remember the big 5 of the viable business model. That's the easiest way to validate actually your application before building stuff. To build the data model in Google Sheets first and use that. So we have that in the application on our side. Have a small training for that, and now we'll build a Zap with Zapier to connect that. So we create that Zap, and then Zapier walks us through. So basically, you'll say, okay, let's go from Google Sheets. Every time row is added or updated, so I can change that data as well. I have to connect it to my Google account. No, that's also really happens when you record stuff. Yeah. Yeah, now it looks up all my spreadsheets. And I'll select the sheet example that we have. There's only one worksheet, so that's easy. And we want any columns in here. Basically, now it gives us the ability to test if there's data and have a preview here. You see, yeah, we have a beginner, immediate, and first-timer sheet. It's actually a snowboard, I think. So we have the data in from this Google Sheets to Zapier, and now we go to the AX app and want to create a document every time in our platform. If there's a data, we select it to various teams and the various collections that are in here, and there's some of them in the demo account. I have the sheet example already. We'll connect, say, give it the information which collection to do. And then give some information about the data that needs to be transmitted. In this case, which is the field that makes the ID for the snowboard. And if I want to find it again, what's the name? And then we'll add a few of those data fields here. So we have the user skills field. We use that. In this case, the Excel is pretty much perfect because it's super flat. It actually has speaking fields. So we'll just, it's a little bit time. As I said, it's you can click it, but on the other hand, you also have to click it. So so now let's send it to the platform. And if we now look at here, look at this, the data has been transmitted here. And if we add a new spreadsheet row here, actually we need to turn it on automatically. I think Zapier normally runs once a minute or something. I'll give it a different number so it actually doesn't override it, and we'll see it. And we simulate that we have a 2021 edition of the snowboard with just the exact same data and name and stuff like that. And the Zap runs in the background, and then you have to wait around a minute or something for it to come up. I think I faked that in the recording by pausing the recording. Yeah, exactly. So now it's in here. Yeah. So that's how you would get data in. And as the last case, what I wanted to show was building a complete application from scratch. So what we'll do is we'll create we don't have data, simulate that case. In this case, I'll do what's all coming up for everyone at the end of this year is just do some holiday greetings. And I decided on using a Google Forms because I want other people to be able to enter data as well, because that's one of the features from Google Forms. So I can send this form to someone to just send it out. They will do some holiday greetings for partners, customers, and suppliers, and then tell them since when they have been, and then I'll give it to the office assistant to fill it out. Google Forms will put that data into a spreadsheet so we have it available. And again, this is a good idea for testing a data model as well. You can send it to other people and stuff. So this is the form. Let's create a data set for a partner that's new from 2020. And do another one for a customer that started in 2019. And now let's connect this. We have this data sets now. Now let's create a Zap again. So Zapier will walk us through the steps here again. We'll do the connect it to the Google Forms. Every time a new response is added, or if someone wants to update his things, he can update them in the same account. Let's see if it finds the data. It does, surprise. Yeah, we have the partner here to always use the less data set for a preview, so you can simulate what you're doing. And then we'll add that to AX. Of course, we need to create a project in AX first. So that's what we'll do. So I'll create a new project on the AX Semantics Cloud, NLG Cloud with the holiday greetings. We'll create some data source for that. Yeah, you need to reload if you do it too late. And we'll create a data source in the project. Let's start with something in English. Make Zapier, put every Google Forms in here, customize a little bit the ID fields and the fields that needs to be transmitted. So basically, we created two fields, one with the relationship, partner, supplier, and so on, and one with the year or date. So this is running. Let's test this and transmit. Turn it on. So now someone fills out the 4 Google Forms, it will be sent. Here is the first data set already. We can now actually start writing in a composer and configure the content automation part of this. We'll switch to our new write first features to make it more easy and faster for me and for everyone. So we have the variables here extracted. Let's start writing holiday greetings. So happy holidays. And add a new line in between. And now we will replace the variables basically that we had. We don't need much grammar in this sentence, but this was deliberate that I don't have to talk much about our platform. Yeah, it found the data variable, and let's create this container. And that's it. And now if I preview the text, I'll get these exact 2 sentences from the data set. And if I fill out a new response here, being sent to Zapier and then back to our application. It's coming in here, and I can generate it here again. Oh, I forgot to turn it on. Yeah, and the cool thing about this is that I now have I can now combine both. So if I want to send this holiday greeting, for example, via email, I could just chain more apps in Zapier on it. So for example, this is from our Newsstream application. So basically then we have the trigger of a generated content again we split the text a little bit and then create LinkedIn and Twitter posts from something like we did. So I can connect it to email, or in this case, LinkedIn, and I can share personal messages. Or in our news stream, it's transforming, curating content, transforming it a little bit, and then reposting it on various social media streams with context. In this case, Zapier has also had some internal tools like text splitting and stuff like that. So for example, we generate hashtags and then have them in a specific field in a Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you go back to the big five of text generation, basically we now are able to go away with data, because if you don't have data, it's easy to simulate that with either Google Sheets or a Google Forms thing. As you have seen, we have not written for generating text, sending it, receiving it, publishing it somewhere. We have not used a single line of code, so you don't need any developer or technology skills or tools to just combine some existing products. So it's now only the human tasks are the ones that are left. Yeah. So this is Zapier. Any questions on this? Feedback, wishes? What's the thing that you were thinking about of doing now with this? Everyone is able to unmute yourself, so feel free. I don't know, Lisa, if there's any Q&A. Probably not. I don't see anything.
No, nothing yet.
No questions? No, I'll ask everyone to unmute, and I'll get some feedback here. Yeah, for those who joined us via the various things, I mean, who of you actually knows Zapier and has already done stuff with it? Well, this doesn't look like it. For those that, well, Zapier is perfect for building applications, especially validating that with various cloud tools and stuff like that. If you have some more enterprise usage, we have something new coming up as well. We're currently in the last fixes of releasing UiPath plugin as well. So if you have like a company internal automation that you want done, UiPath is more like an enterprise tool with their UiPath Go stuff. So we'll have a marketplace there as well. And so feel free to ping me or Lisa or something if you want to be one of the earliest ones that I want to use that. But anyway, feel free to use Zapier. It's live now. You can just use it in the AX Semantics. You can just look up Zapier, AX Semantics in Zapier if you already have a Zapier account, or just click through the normal onboarding mails that we have. Yeah. That's it from my side.